You are now listening to a 302 Birds podcast experience, proudly powered by Tick Pick, Cutbet, El Diablo Burritos, Nick's Pizza, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street.
There's been a lot of emotions the last couple of minutes because if the rumors are true that have been in our comments, I don't know. The rumors are that Zach Ertz is an Eagle, and if you're starting out your Thursday or your Wednesday night listening to this and this rumor, and it's true, or it happens to be breaking news during the podcast, you're welcome, okay? We got an inside source. Not really. It's this person in the comments who's a Chiefs fan, but I mean, if they're right, we haven't seen anything yet, but hopefully something's coming out soon. But more importantly, welcome to another episode of 302 Birds, hoping to start out this holiday season with a bang, with a gift, with a homecoming of Zach Ertz. We got a jam-packed show for you guys tonight. We have plenty of guests, some 302 Birds alumni that I know you guys are very excited to see, some new guests, and really just a great show for you guys. If you have any questions, be active in the comments. And of course, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please to God, write us a review. We're trying to get a couple more this month. So if you can do that for us, that would be great. But I will kick it to our call-ins intro, and he's not here. Shout out to Jack's grandma. Happy birthday to her. And also a happy early birthday to Decker, which I'll get to later in the podcast.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking you how your day is. Their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302 Birds sent you. God bless. Go Birds.
Vince, welcome to the show, to the bullpen of 302 Birds, a longtime Philly sports fan. How we doing tonight, my man?
What's up, y'all? What's up? I'm doing okay, man. I'm doing okay.
How are you feeling overall after that loss? I mean, it wasn't pretty at all. It was a beatdown.
A little bit. My so I'll be completely honest. I'll put some of the loss on me. I was very adamant. Sunday was my birthday. Hey, I want to go down to the Eagles game. But my wife was like, "No, it's your birthday. Let's get away for the weekend." So I wasn't in South Philadelphia cheering on our squad. I was down the shore, so I'm just gonna be better and do my best to make it out to the next tailgate because I felt like a piece of the Eagles was missing. I could have helped us out if I was down there.
We could have used you, man, because that one was awful. I mean, Tom, what did the Salucci household sound like down in Delco in front of the television?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I was in South Philly, Dutch. I was at the game.
Hey, what did the link sound like with Tom Salucci in section whatever you were in?
Oh my god, I was way up top, end zone that facing away from, or that faces Citizens Bank Park. It was not good. We had these two very annoying Niners fans who I think all these three women knew. They knew Kittle, they knew CMC, and they knew Bosa. Because anytime any of them were announced over the PA system, it was, "Oh my God, Bosa! Oh my God!" Oh, I wanted to strangle someone. It was the most petulant and annoying sound I've ever heard in my life. But it was terrible. It was cold. It was rainy. I got to see Matranga though. That was good. Gave him that was a highlight of the day. Yeah, we hugged it out. Got some brewskis in us. It was good.
Sounds like
from
a
that
great
perspective.
Day. What's a typical tailgate day look like for Vincent Shea Garman? Like, is there a routine, like a wake up?
So I'll say this: when my fandom for the Eagles really picked up, my first year out of school in 2015, Kelly's last year, my best friend and I bought season tickets, and we made it a point that C4 Wells Fargo lot spot. We were there, when the gates were opening up, whether that was 7:30, 8 o'clock. But like literally going back and looking at my Facebook memories, like I was taking selfies. The tailgate was set up for a 1 o'clock game at like 7:45, 8 o'clock. So what did it look like? It looked like going to work, getting up bright and early, making sure everybody was at my house on time for the ride down. Maybe hit a little Wawa, get a little coffee. But we were set up, ready to go, and that's some of the best parking lot football hours when no one's in there. Yeah, so we'd loosen up a little football, get the juices flowing, and then after that, wherever the day takes us, whether that was Xfinity, going in the stadium, whatever we were doing. So a Garmin tailgate definitely comes prepared, comes ready.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you one more question, too. As a fan, a longtime fan, who do you hate more right now? Is it the 49ers over the Cowboys, or are you still, Cowboys are the worst? Because 49ers fans have been pretty annoying this year.
I feel sad for both of them. Number one, the 49ers fans, because they're California residents. So California just awful state. And then number two, like the Cowboys fans, they're just like delusional. Like the Delco Cowboy fans have never been to Dallas. 90% of them. They don't even know where Texas is on a map. And then what's the stat? One playoff win since 94, 90, whatever.
It's awful. I don't even know what it is, but it's something bad like that.
But Dez dropped it. You guys got to remember that. Dez dropped it.
Dez did drop it. And like when they had the clapper, Jason Garrett, I was like, I'm not scared of this guy at all whatsoever. I kind of feel that way about Dak, what's he going to do? Is this year going to be the year? I feel he's like, the Russell Westbrook equivalent NBA style, a guy who puts up great stats, not get it done for you when it really matters.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you said, I feel like I was out of place too. I have been to every single game. Well, I mean, not every single game. I've been to every single game so far this season and last season, and I only experienced one loss last season, which was the Commanders. And I feel like since I wasn't there this weekend, they lost. It was just a big, I don't know, it was just horrible. But this week is a big week. I think it's the most important game. They need to win.
Yeah.
You've gone to every game.
Put it together now, and that's kind of what I was saying today to somebody.
Not every game. I've been to. Sorry.
You're all good. No worries. I think that there's a lag. But yeah, they need to really put it together, and we'll see if they do this week. Hopefully they do. But Vince, if you had to say one thing to this Eagles team, if you could give them one piece of advice, do you know what it would be right now?
And my one question to you is just kind of like, hey, how does like everybody like watch the game? One of my favorite things is like watching the game, but then also like following along on Twitter, following all the beat writers and stuff. And like these dudes do say the right things. Like there's not much that I think that you need to say to these guys. Like I feel like we have a team of grown men who understand what they got going on. If there was anything that I would say to them and what I've been saying to myself, thank God this happened in December, not January, right? So there's still time to right the ship. I think that there's definitely things wrong with the ship, namely our first half offense. That's a little interesting. I'm down to see Rashad Penny. Like I'm ready for that. I'm kind of, let's say Boston Scott for strictly Giants games. Kenny Gainwell I can do without, but I'm ready to see him jump at running back there. And then defensively, I'm excited to see what Shaq Leonard's going to bring to the table, because watching those highlights, all we were watching was just Morrow just chasing after the ball for days. So yeah,
and it hasn't been fun watching that guy. Their secondary and their linebackers have been missing tackle after tackle, but I think that that's a good piece of advice. I think you're right. You hit the nail on the head from what it's like been watching it this year from all perspectives too. I like that you bring that up because like even when you're at home watching the game, you're still checking your phone in between. You still see the initial memes, the reactions, and that's kind of one of the cool parts I do think about social media is you get to see what are other Eagles fans thinking right now, and it can be pretty entertaining for sure. But Vincent, I do want to thank you for jumping on with us tonight, as always, and let the people know where they can find you too.
Yeah, definitely. You guys can find us at the Garmin Group on Instagram, at trolley.trends. And then also, if you guys just search me, I'm pretty searchable. Though. I'll get some funny stuff. But my wife and I run a real estate team here in Wilmington. Dalton's one of our clients. And, we love Big Dalton. A lot of Big Dalton energy in the house. And, yeah, so if you guys ever need any real estate stuff, definitely let me know. Yeah, dude, appreciate you having me on. If I could ask you one question, you kind of brought it up before. Favorite Deshaun Jackson moment?
So, like, obviously the stereotypical one is Miracle in the Meadowlands, I think. But if I had to give you a really good one that I don't want to talk about, but I think it's kind of a funny one. Now that I look back on it, we can laugh about it. As an Eagles fan, it hurt in the moment, but it just tells you so much about his personality. Do you guys remember the first play when he went to Washington and he scored a touchdown on us in Philly and he just ends up doing the Eagle? That's how you know the guy has always loved us because we were still rent-free in his head the first touchdown. So I think, besides, all the stereotypical ones, that one's an underrated moment for me of where my man D-Jax was still showing love to the team, but also reminding us how fucking dumb we were, and Chip Kelly really was for letting him go. Good question, though. What about you? Do you have one?
Just looking back at like the highlights, just like the longevity of a small receiver like that in what is a very much a grown man's league to be catching touchdown passes from McNabb all the way through Jalen Hurts. I just want to give a shout out to like his longevity of his career. The guy was just an absolute stud. And I like that he just kind of, did it his own way. He didn't care, if he fumbled the football before stepping in the end zone. He was still going to celebrate like he scored anyway. So
I love it, man. Thank you for joining us as always. And make sure, like Vince said, to buy your homes with the Garmin Group, especially if you guys are in Delaware or the Wilmington area. They just sold to me in Newark. I love my home here. It's great. My dogs are both happy. So very satisfied clientele over here. But thank you for what you do, man. And hopefully we'll see you at a tailgate soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Looking forward to it, brother.
All right, salud. And actually a perfect bridge into our next topic with our next guest, Mr. Dennis. We said we were going to talk about D-Jax tonight, my man, and what a career. I mean, Vincent kind of laid out the groundwork for you. I mean, what was it like watching that guy's career and now to see it come to an end?
You go and you look back, and my voice is real scratchy because, again, I was at the debacle on Sunday.
That's a good problem, man. You're showing us you're legit with that voice.
Look, trust me, 233 knew who I was when the game was over. To watch him from when he came in as a young gentleman to the grown man that he's turned into, from the quarterbacks that he's played with, and to see him as a dad now, you see the growth of people, and you see what the world has come to. You think about it, 2009, 2010, I was a senior in high school, and now I'm about to be 32 on Sunday, and it's like, all right, I'm getting old. It's not good. But to see how humble he is after the disaster of Chip Kelly, and to come back and deal with injuries and not be able to give us what he wanted to go out. There's just no better way to do it. And like he said, he developed the small receiver style to give us people like Devontae Smith. So to be able to say the goodbye like I did on Sunday was different.
I think because from that perspective specifically, like you said too, Dennis, like I only got a brief, and KJ will tell you guys a little bit more about when he comes on too, as we get through a couple segments here, because we do got to get off to our Phillies here in a minute. But meeting him in person was an experience that I'll never forget. Just being able to shake his hand, thank him for what he did. I know everybody comes up to him, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sure all day, but even just being able to be in his presence, he was so polite. He wasn't rude, even in that, 10, 12 seconds, you have his undivided attention. And there's a lot to be said for that, because there's a lot of athletes, I think, that do sign autographs and stuff like that, where you don't have that attention.
He came in, and so I had Logan with me. Dalton, you can tell everybody about that story whenever you feel you want to. But I had Logan with me, and Amanda was like, she called me because she's like, look, I didn't want you to miss the message. Deshaun's going to be in the tent in a minute. I'm like, what? So I went and grabbed Logan, and I stood there by the middle doors, and I wasn't paying attention because I was looking at the monitor. And he was like 2 steps away. He's like, what's up, man? How you been? I'm like, what? Like, he's like, I remember seeing you when you were at my first game here when I was a rookie. I'm like, and I was front row that day at the tunnel in 106 or whatever the number is. So that was really, really weird. But I missed the dap from him, and I'm like, crap. So I went inside, and, I said, dude, I did not mean to miss the dap. And he goes, dude, starstruck, I get it.
You went back in and you dapped him up after that to get it correct? So you got to fucking meet him twice by not dapping him up correctly? That's a great story. I wish I would have done that. That's fucking genius, man.
Well, he was out, like, he was going into the tent to go sign. So I'm like, I looked up. He's like, what's up, man? I'm like, what? So I bolted in the tent, followed him to the table, then went all the way to the back of the line and made my way back up.
How about that? Turning a negative into a positive, right?
My main concern was to make sure Logan had a good time. It wasn't about me. Sunday was not about me. Wasn't about me driving 3 hours from Virginia to go watch a football game. It was to make sure that kid had a good day.
And it sounds like it was that. So, successful day, right?
Aside from the loss, yeah.
Yeah, oh my God, that was terrible. And just because we got to get on to our Phillies here, but if you had one thing to say, we've been asking our guests tonight, one thing to say to that locker room, Dennis, on your way out here, what would you say if you could address that Eagles locker room after that 49ers loss? Coach Dennis.
Can we curse on here?
Of course. Yes. Fuck no.
Fix your goddamn fucking shit. And wake the fuck up. Where is the Jim Johnson defense that we grew up watching and falling in love with? Like, somebody fix it. Please. And for God's sakes, bench Reed Blankenship.
Reed? You done with Reed?
I'm done with him. He don't wrap up. He doesn't wrap up. It's always, I'm going to grab you here or I'm going to do this. I'm sorry. Put Sidney Brown in the game and let Sidney start. That's it. It's done.
I'm with that. I like that. And I know Ashley's about that too.
I ordered the jersey. It literally is number 32 and it says Reed Blanken shit.
Already that quickly, you already got a Blanken shit jersey.
On that note.
That is your Glasgow High School education for the day. When it comes in the mail, will you send me a picture of
it so I can clip this?
Like I just said, man.
Philly fans are wild.
That is your Glasgow High School education of the day.
That's funny as shit, though, the Blanken shit. That's a pretty good pun. I couldn't have thought of that one myself. So I think even, if Reed doesn't like it, maybe he'll respect the pun game, right? Let's hope. Or maybe he'll turn into a pro baller after it.
We're not in the game for feelings, man. We're in the game for Super Bowls.
I'm with it, man. Well, thank you, Dennis, for joining us tonight. And tell everybody where they can find you as well.
Y'all can find me over, as you can see, as it says there on the bottom. I am the founder of the Countrywide Eagles Tailgate Mafia. We're always over in Lot D under Pole D1. Or you can find me over on our podcast, the Countrywide Eagles Podcast. Logan's on there as a host as well. We've had a few guests as well lined up. I got a few more Eagles lined up for the future to maybe come on and do the podcast with us. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. God bless and stay safe and go Birds.
Good night.
You Birch.
I just want to say, Reed Blankenship had 7 tackles last game. I think
He's picked to go to the Pro Bowl.
yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Philly fans, it's still not good enough. But hey, we got a lot to cover, so I'm gonna kick it right to
Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Fingers Ditch.
Good evening, Ditch. So
Is it
I'll try to
always
keep
sunny
it
in
quick.
Philly? Oh, go ahead. My fault.
No, of course. I'll try to keep it quick for you, Dutch, because I know we got other things we got to talk about, and I know it's the off season for me. Yeah, I should be soaking in the nice crisp rays, the sunny rays down in Clearwater with the Phils right now. But we got some business to take care of with the winter meetings. Jock Peterson posting some cryptic stuff on Instagram. He's playing Dancing on My Own while saying it's always sunny in Philadelphia. Everyone and their mother in Philadelphia thought for 5 minutes that the Phillies signed Jock Peterson, but thank you, Alex Coffey, for being right on it. Beat reporter there. They're telling us no, we're all jumping to conclusions way too fast. Didn't sign with the Phillies. He later posted on his Instagram story saying, what team should I sign with, everyone? And so right now there's nothing to be said. I'm a little disappointed. I kind of would have liked him. He would have been a nice platoon guy. Could have gave Harper some rest over at first base some days. He actually shows up in the playoffs. Like it would have been a nice piece to add. Next part, and then the next topic, Dutch, I believe is we got Topper, right? Is the next one.
Yes, sir. Take it away.
So Topper, we got 2 more Topper, which I like personally. So Topper signed 2 more years through 2025. This year I believe would have been his last season. And he's kind of like after 2025, he's kind of like hinted like I'm old, like he doesn't hide his age. He's a pretty straightforward guy. He might be quiet, but he's pretty straightforward. He's like, I'm old. Like this might be it. Like I might just retire. Or which if that's the case, the window closes, I think, for the Phillies in 2025. Because I think as much as we might get annoyed at some of his moves, annoyed at some of the things he does, he's the perfect manager for the group of guys that we have. Just like Fergusi was the right guy in 93 for the characters that they had. And then Topper's the right guy for the type of characters they have in 2023, 2024. So the window might be closing at the end of that, but I was psyched when I saw he signed for at least a little bit of an extension, and I think does the Phillies a great deal of good use.
Yeah, I mean, along with that, Tom, I'm stoked, man, because people are always like, Tom, he sucks with his bullpen management, blah, 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 blah. I mean, but like people forget that 2 years in a row we've gone to the NL championship. And it's like that's a rare thing in baseball. Baseball's a hard sport, 162 games. To be able to get back to the championship game like that 2 years in a row, I mean, that takes a good manager. Even if you have
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's people who are like, he's not a good manager. It's like I think they got to look at the bigger picture. It's like we've gotten back to 2 NL championships, and I think that's the most important takeaway. Is like he's letting us win in the playoffs, and he's made some shitty calls, like you said, but he's gotten us back to the big games, and we haven't had that in a very long time. And yes, we have a talented roster, but I think he's also learning. I mean, this is his 2nd year as a head coach. This was his first season as a full, like the full head coach for the season. So, I mean, I think he's only going to get better. And, you know, the past 2 seasons we've been riddled with injuries, and hopefully, you know, this coming season we can have a healthy season. We can actually see what this team is made of, because when everyone's healthy and he's managing, we're projected to get 110 wins a season. So, like, hopefully we can see that next season, the season afterwards. I like the signing.
I also just go back to at the beginning of the season when we were freaking out about how they just could not pull it together. Some of us were freaking out, some of us were not. However, I think it's just important to note that we saw improvement. Yes, we saw improvement going, right? We saw it pick up. I mean, we were at the one game in May that was arguably one of the worst games of baseball I've ever sat through on TV or in person. But then, you know, by the end, they were really looking really good. And I thought we were going back to another World Series. So I'm excited. I think it gives us the best shot for the next couple of years. I don't think he's going to stay past 2025. I really don't think he will. But it's fantastic that we at least have him for now. And like kind of that question mark of what was going to happen is now alleviated. So we can move into the rest of the offseason and hopefully have it go smoothly.
I think he will. I think he'll stay back past 2025. I think so. You know, a couple seasons ago, he was like, I was going to retire and then I got promoted. But like, I think ever since he's been manager, like, I think he's having a lot of fun. And I don't think that he shows up to the winter meetings. He's wearing his Hawaiian shirts. Like, he's just like, he's just living the life of Rob Thompson. That's just Philly Rob, man. You know, it's just like, that's the guy that you see in Wawa just buying, you know, a half gallon of chocolate milk and just drinks it in the parking lot. Like, that's Philly Rob, man.
Oh,
He's having
out that pack of Newports before he walks inside and takes the last drag of happiness in his life. Anyways, that was actually a nice bridge out of the Phillies for us. And I do want to actually shout out the man, the birthday boy, Decker Locks, giving us his locks even when he's away, dealing with some stuff. It's his birthday, like T Swift. He's feeling 22. But you know what? He's feeling like turning $100 into $993 for you guys too. Jalen Hurts, anytime TD, you know that's pretty much in there every week with this kid. Devontae Smith, alternate 40-plus receiving yards. Stephon Diggs, he's got over. I'll let him tell you a little bit about this same game parlay.
What's going on, everybody? Decker Locks here. Sorry I couldn't make the pod tonight. I got to get hammered. It's T Swift here, baby. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22. Fuck you, Taylor. You're bandwagon. You're a fake Eagles fan. All right. Speaking of Eagles, we're going to go first. Eagles, Cowboys. We better win, baby. But 2 locks in that game are Hurts anytime touchdown. Come on. That's the lock of the week every fucking week. The touch push. It's too easy. And then Devontae Smith is starting to heat up. So we're just going to take him 40-plus alternate receiving yards. Next game, we're going to go Chiefs. Chiefs-Bills, very exciting. Going to be high scoring, a lot of passing. Rashee Rice over 37.5 alternate receiving yards. Stephon Diggs over 63.5 alternate receiving yards. And then just 2 single props we're going to throw in the parlay. Keaton Mitchell, 40-plus alternate rushing yards. And then Cortland Sutton over receiving yards, 54.5 against that bomb-ass Chargers defense. Thank you, everybody. Let's get rich. Please be responsible. I'm not a professional, but I give good advice. Thank you.
I don't know if I would take his advice. But do what you want with your money. Some of these actually seem like good picks. And shout out to our boy Decker. Happy birthday, my man.
Yeah, we have somebody in our Instagram Live who lost $800 on the Eagles game on Sunday.
Oh, cool. Thank God. You gave me a mini heart attack. I thought you were going to say on Decker Locks. I was about to be like, Jesus, man, I am so sorry. Anything can happen. But hey, it's actually a perfect transition into our next segment here. Some madness for the Philadelphia 76ers we've been dealing with. This whole Kelly Oubre situation finally seems to come to an end. And I do want to welcome back a 302 Birds legend, a great friend of mine, and happy post-birthday to him. It seems like everybody that's great is born this week. My guy, my brother, KJ McCoy. What's up, my man? How we doing? You're muted.
Sorry, the dog was going crazy for about like 5 minutes, so just wanted to make sure background noise. But all right, I'll shut up for that.
I'm
But
loving the
yeah,
hat.
thank you, thank you. I just got off eBay probably like 5 days ago, so you know me, I'm always trying to find some items on eBay. But yeah, no, thank you for the birthday wish, appreciate it, and I'm glad to be back on the show for a little bit. So yeah, this is awesome. So. Yeah, Oubre, man. I saw the Sixers won. They beat the Wizards. I saw that. And Oubre, I think he had 12 points. And then, but I mean, like the main headline though is Embiid had a 50 burner again. So Embiid went off again, and we just owned the Washington Wizards. I mean, like they don't even have many fans anyway. So yeah, it's a good night to be a Sixers fan for sure. Good night.
Yeah. It was a great game to watch. I had a parlay on it. Parlay didn't hit. As Decker says, bet responsibly. I did not bet responsibly, but you know what? It happens to the best of us. I had Kelly Oubre actually over 12.5, and he got 12. So that kind of sucked. But it is what it is. You know, like you said, Embiid is the first Sixers player ever in the franchise history to have 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 blocks in 6 games straight, I think it is. Yeah, he's on a tear. But Oubre back in the lineup, man. Oubre in the lineup is huge for us. I mean, he wasn't even starting tonight, and him coming off the bench scoring 12 that's going to make a huge difference for this team. We're going to miss we missed his presence. Once he's back in the starting lineup, that's going to be even better. He's such a sound player, you know, defensively, offensively. He's consistent every night. And we're kind of missing that with, you know, Batum starting or Covington or whoever is, you know, who Nick Nurse is bringing off the bench. So I do think Nick Nurse working his way back to, you know, full health and being in that starting lineup, I think is going to be one of the biggest things for this team, especially since we're kind of getting out of this we're getting out of the tougher schedule. We're getting into some easier games. Now it's the time to start, you know, racking up these wins. And people are healthy again. Embiid was out sickness. Maxey was out sickness. Batum was out with a dislocated finger. You know, we had Oubre out over the past couple of games. So it's like, you know, we're back to full strength. We're getting there at least. And I think this is going to be the start of a really good run for the Sixers here.
I hope you're right, man, because it's been interesting being a fan, saying the least. I know that Sean Decker and I might be targeting a meetup. KJ, Matt, Jack, Tom, and Ash. I know in Chicago it might be a little bit far from you, but you guys are all welcome. I think we're going to try to go to the Sixers game December 15th. But like I said, Ash, no sweat, you know, on a 10-day notice all the way from Chicago.
And that's also like right after finals. So you're not going to want to see me. I'm going to like lock myself in a hole and like talk to no one. And yeah.
Relatable.
Actually be
for all of our
like
listeners.
during busy season.
I'm already going to be at the game, actually.
So, well, if I see you there, that's going to be – well, I might have to go to that game then because that'll be fun. But like
I'm hoping
said,
to get down to Clearwater. That's what I can say. If I think I can get down to Clearwater in March.
We might be making that trip too, so stay tuned, guys. That could be a lot of fun. But also that Sixers game, if you guys want more details on it, let us know. We do meetups like that all the time. But it'll be fun to see the Sixers team. Huh?
It's more expensive to go to the Harlem Globetrotters than the fucking Sixers.
Really?
Yeah, dude. The Sixers tickets for that game were like $21.
$3, yeah.
It's so cheap, man. That's crazy.
I love it. Now this team, I said I wouldn't spend any money on this year. Probably gonna spend some money on this team this year. Gonna go to the Wells Fargo Center. Gonna end up spending $23 on a ticket. Hey, that's a steal. Gonna go to Chicky and Pete's. That's on the routine. I'm gonna end up there. Gonna probably end up not buying a jersey. I won't get suckered into that. But you know, if I go with Alyssa, she's like, "Oh my god, look at this stuffed animal." I'm gonna buy a fucking $35 stuffed animal that's gonna put me in debt until I'm 50. But the point is, if the Sixers win, it'll all be worth it. That's kind of the mentality this year with all Philly sports. If they win, it'll all be worth it, no matter what I got going on right now.
If they make it out of the second round, Dalt. If they make it out of the second round, it's
If
all
they
gonna
make
be
it out of
worth
the second round.
Yeah,
But I mean,
Can we get a banner for that?
It seems to be a new year,
hopefully.
and I'll knock on wood saying that. But Nick Nurse, I really like the fact that they actually bring in a competent coach. Like Decker said, we don't have a fake head coach. And I think that that was one of Decker's best lines on the podcast, even though it was an interesting one.
Yeah, no, I mean if you're gonna, spend money on the Sixers, man, do it on the parlay. It's the easiest parlay ever. It doesn't hit every night, but it's Maxey over like 21, it's Embiid over like 28, and then Sixers money line. It's an easy parlay to hit, and it happens a lot. So if you're gonna lose money on the Sixers, that you should do it on your parlay because then you can make money on the Sixers. But like Decker said, guys, bet responsibly. If you have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLING or whatever it is.
Don't bet illegally either, kids.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, not at all.
No, seriously, I know some kids who do it. So
I don't even know how you do that. You have to enter your social security number.
Parents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about some finessing.
Oh, yeah. Parents. Yep.
Crazy.
Just
Okay,
use their
so
account.
are you feeling confident about the Sixers here?
And not only that, but people that are over 20.
Am I feeling confident? I think I'm way more confident with, as Dalt was just saying before, having an actual head coach with the pedigree. I feel like Nick Nurse seems like he's got the attention of the locker room. He respects the players. He believes that Kelly Oubre is telling the truth, which with the whole scandal and everything like that. So I think honestly he's got Embiid on his side as well, which when he was the Raptors coach, him and Embiid did not see eye to eye, but they flipped that switch and they've been able to work together. And I mean, you've seen it on the court right now. This team is gelling together, and we don't miss that bearded weirdo out in LA at all. And we're not talking about Santa Claus. No, that's North Pole. I'm talking about LA, the other bearded weirdo, James Harden. We don't miss that guy at all. And good riddance to him for sure.
Yeah. And speaking about how you're feeling, I mean, let's talk about this 49ers game, man. How are you feeling after that? I know I saw you at the tailgate.
Yeah.
Are you it was a bad game. What was the feel at that stadium? Are you feeling confident with this coming Sunday coming up too?
Oh man, it was the place was very, I guess you could say, hostile. It was very everybody was very mad, I'll tell you that. Just getting out of the parking lot, I mean, I can still hear car horns in my ears. That's how bad it was. Me and my brother were literally screaming out the freaking windows, "Shut the fuck up!" And we were just we couldn't take it anymore. We could not take it anymore. As I said before, I still hear it in my ears. Still hear it. But
you know why I hate leaving now all the time, KJ?
What's
Why
up?
everybody busts my balls?
What about leaving? No, I didn't leave early like you. Well, I did leave
That's
early
why
a
I
little.
leave early, is what I'm saying.
Okay, but I didn't miss traffic. That's the problem, though. I didn't miss traffic. I was stuck in it. So, but yeah,
I
no,
was easy in and out, KJ. I'm going to be perfectly honest. So many people left because I guess they just left early. I stayed the whole time, easy in and out. It was beautiful.
Well,
Where'd you
which lot?
park?
I was in K lot. It's different in K lot, man. There's savages in there.
That's fair.
Preppy savages, not preppy savages. I mean, it's crazy. But I mean, getting back to what Hollis just said, yeah, honestly, I think this team needed that loss. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but they needed to get punched in the mouth once again just to wake themselves up. I feel like, I mean, Dallas is a good team. They got a lot of confidence. I know a lot of those Dallas cockroach fans, and I'm not calling all of them cockroach fans, but the ones that I keep on seeing on my TikTok For You page with all the score of the game of the Eagles and the Niners, you freaking lost. What was the score when they played them? What was it, 42-10? Worse than we did. And you're freaking saying, "Oh, Eagles, you're trash. You aren't as good as you actually are. You got Jalen Hurts is overrated." All this crap. Get the freak out of here. Jeez, I'm tired of these people. It's just so aggravating. But you know what, though? I cannot wait because you guys know my good friend. He is my friend, even though he is a Cowboys fan. I have a bet with him, Cowboy Chris, and hopefully this weekend he will lose that bet, and we will see him all in a great, beautiful green Eagles hat. So that will be great. And also our Baron as well. So that'll be awesome. But we just need to win first, though. So, all right, Eagles, just wake up, get the dub, and I win the bet. So it's a good day.
I completely agree with you when you say they needed to get kicked in the mouth. You know, it's extremely rare that you see a team go, say, 17 or 16-1. Well, now 16-1. It used to be 15-1 or whatever. And then, go the distance in the playoffs. Now, having this kick in the mouth, listening to some of the player interviews in the locker room today, I know AJ Brown, there's a reporter asking him, like, how do you respond? What's the message in the locker room? And he's like, just watch on Sunday. It like gives me, I get fucking fired up, man. I get fired up. I have a feeling I have a feeling they're out for blood on Sunday, and I can't wait for it. Because this team is different from other teams, and I think that they're gonna bounce back, and they're gonna fight back. I like, they just lost the number one power ranking in almost every single person's power ranking, and like, I don't think the players are looking at power rankings, but like, I bet you some of them are, and they're probably going to be like, fuck them, like we're the best team in the NFL, and we're going to come out there on Sunday and we're going to prove it. This is the biggest game of the year. I know we're not even talking about the Dallas game yet, but like, you lose to the 49ers like you did, and it just amplifies everything about it. It was a shitty game. I was watching it with Dalt. It was just an awful game to watch, but I think we had a good time.
I think we had a great time with the fans and interviewing people, and it was great to hang out with Matt in that atmosphere and introduce him to some of the family affectionately known. KJ knows all the fun people I'm talking about, so he got to meet Lou Bird. Shout out to Lou Bird. He got to meet Birdman 951. And of course some of the usual suspects like Nady, the guys from 4th and John. Shout out to 4th and John for hosting like they do every week, but dealing with the madness of parking. I mean, the parking this year has been an absolute chaos shit show. So shout out to them for keeping the patience to still put on a tailgate, because I don't know that I'm able to do that. I just say fuck that and drive away. But shout out to them for hosting and putting on an exceptional tailgate every week. I mean, did you have a favorite moment of that tailgate, Matt? Meeting Philly Sports Guy, maybe?
Oh yeah.
Philly Sports Guy was cool. I think that was probably one of the cooler moments, just because, my entire life I've seen him on TV, and like I never got to meet him, so I was like, oh, let's get a picture together. You still have to send me that picture too. But
it's in the group chat, I think. Check it. I think I put it in there and the bell, but I'll resend it if I didn't.
Are you gonna ask Matt to scroll up through hundreds and hundreds of text messages?
No, just go to the one thing on the side. You can do that.
Oh yeah.
But no, that was definitely a cool spot. But I mean, just interviewing, man, I just can't wait to be able to get out there and do it more with you. So much fun. I had a great time. The White Claw surge has helped, but it was a fun time, man. I had a great time there.
And shout out to Sharps too for allowing us and paying for us to be out there to do that. There's a great picture of Matt and the Philly Sports Guy outside the link. I mean, the rain was coming down for sure, but like I said, shout out to Sharps. Make sure to download the app. It's basically like Facebook for sports betting. You can stick your neck out, talk your shit with your friends. Download it today. But I mean, watching that game as a whole was just freaking depressing. I know Matt and I were watching it together, and it felt like the same things we kept seeing over and over again. Jalen Hurts holding the ball too long, play calling maybe not being where it needed to be. But the one thing that Matt brought up as well, I thought was great, was it may not be as much Jalen Hurts. Or I'm sorry, not Jalen Hurts. It may not be as much Brian Johnson as we think. It may be a little bit of Nick Sirianni. He came out, I think, today and said in the game plan that it's mostly him who's directing Brian Johnson on what the play call should be, what the direction for offense should be, which takes a little bit of the blame or the focus off of Brian Johnson, I think it's fair to say. However, it doesn't excuse this offense's lackluster performance. This offense is underperformed as a whole this entire season. And it's crazy to think that, they still have some of these stats. Jalen Hurts, I think it's still fair to say, is in the top 3 MVP favorites. And A.J. Brown has been having an exceptional year, along with Smitty, for a wide receiver number 2. So when you look at what this team has done as a lackluster underperformer, it's almost like, okay, when are you going to turn it on? And I almost hope that this punch in the mouth, like KJ said, is that wake-up call that they're like, oh, all right, like, you want to see what we got for? Like, they've been too nice. Maybe this punch in the mouth is what they needed.
Dog, you just got me fired the fuck up, man, because you're right. We're 10-2. And we're sitting here just being like the coaching sucks. And we're 10-2. Like, we've beaten really good teams this year. And it's like we're sitting here, we're like, the coaching is terrible. The play calling is terrible. The defense sucks. The offense is stagnant. And we're 10-2. Like, it's crazy to me that, like, we have this team here that we have so much confidence in. And the one thing that we can take away, it's not the players. It's not, it's not the refs or anything like that. It's our play calling. If it was the best that it could be, we would be hands down the best team in the NFL. Hands down, no question about it. And we haven't seen it yet, which is why we're all in this chat, in this podcast, so confident in this team going back to the Super Bowl, because once they figure out the play calling, once they figure out that running the ball is actually a good thing to do, shout out to the fans outside of the NovaCare complex this morning, giving Sirianni the sign. Once they figure out that, like, running the ball is good, I think this team is going to unlock an entire new level. We saw it at the beginning of the year, putting up 30 points a game. DeAndre Swift having 120 rushing yards a game off of 25, 30 carries. But now we're in this, for some reason, we're in this way, and we saw it a lot in the 49ers. DeAndre Swift had 6 touches the entire game. That's so unacceptable. He's as dynamic as CMC or Tony Pollard or any of these running backs, but we don't give him the ball. And it's just once they start giving him the ball, this team, we can start doing our RPOs again. We can start letting, Jalen Hurts roll out of the pocket when, he fakes the handoff to Swift. When you're not running the ball, you can't do that, and we become extremely one-dimensional. And I think, like you said, it's Sirianni's fault. He came out this week saying the game plan is mine. The only thing Brian Johnson done is calls the plays that I give him. And so it's like, I think Sirianni should be on the hot seat because the play calling has sucked dick. And, it's got to change. It's this Sunday. It has to change because we're going into Dallas, man. And if we play like we did against the 49ers, we are going to get smoked.
And I have a question for our guy, Big Sean, joining us here too. Big Sean, we've been complaining about this team for the past 5 minutes, me and Matt. I want you to flip it up for the listeners. I want you to give us a little bit of a positive spin. Big Sean, tell me a little bit about the Eagles signing Big Shaq. Matt talking about playing the Cowboys this week, got to change up the game plan. Defensively, how much does adding a seasoned veteran linebacker like Shaq Leonard help?
Well, I'll start this. They obviously waived Christian Ellis because he's dog shit. And then they also, I'm not going to say anything about Nicholas Morrow because early in the season he had 2 legacy games in his career, and then that was it. And then he just went to the Snapchat ghost guy. So he just was non-existent on the field. They need to get better at tackling. That's what led up pretty much 2 of those touchdowns to Deebo Samuel. And yeah, I mean, I like the signing. I don't know if he's going to do any better, but it's obviously going to be better than what we have now. So it can't be any worse than what we have. And then on another note, Zach Cunningham is coming back this week, which surprises me because I didn't think that he would be ready because of his hamstring injury. I thought he would be out for maybe, 2 more weeks, but it's great for him to come back. It is great. I just think that, yeah, they're all going to be fired up. And yeah, they just need to play better and run the ball, run the damn ball with DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is your best back, and he's shown it over the season. I don't know why you're just I don't know why. I don't know why you don't give him the ball. Like, I'm tired of seeing fucking Kenny Gainwell fumbling the ball here and there. I'm tired of it. They're so much better of a team. And that's another thing. We're Eagles fans and they're 10-2 and we're questioning how good are they, you know? They can make the Super Bowl, but they just haven't shown, like, after this week, they need to show really a lot better play calling, and I'm scared of Dallas's record because they're 14-0 at home this season. 14-0 in the last, like, 14 games, at home. So, they don't lose at home. They don't. But, I do feel like, the Eagles have to win this game.
Yeah, I think with Sean's point, I think honestly, it means a lot because honestly, you need to run the ball. And I don't think anybody's brought this up, but I'm kind of aggravated, to be honest, with the running game. And it's not because we haven't ran the ball. It's because we paid a certain player named Rashad Penny, and we haven't freaking used him at all. I mean, we use him a little bit, but not enough to the extent that we paid him for the the potential that we thought he had. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Sirianni and him, like if they have some differences or something. But dude, get him in the game because as Sean just said, I'm also tired of Kenny Gainwell, to be honest. I'm tired of him in general just fumbling the ball and not having as much confidence as he had last year. I just don't see it. I really do feel like if you give Rashad Penny some more snaps, he's going to break out and it's going to be good. If you have like a basis of Swift and Penny in the backfield, you'll be fine. And then you can pass the ball. You can pass to AJ Brown. Then you can pass to Devontae Smith. I mean, that's just what a good offense does. I mean, you saw with the Niners, they ran the ball and they passed the ball. They did both. They did a great job with them. We got to give our hats off to them. We got to do that. But yeah, I think honestly though, where the hell is Rashad Penny? Where is he?
I think he's only seen what 3 or 4 snaps this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's outrageous because I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. Another thing with the play calling that I think is important to mention now that we know that Brian Johnson is not doing as much as we thought he was doing. Nick Sirianni's first season, he called the plays. It did not go well when he called the plays. We had the offensive coordinator call the plays, and magic happened. And this was the one thing that I was afraid of when Steichen left was, is Sirianni going back to play calling? Because it didn't work. So I think that's definitely something that needs to be looked at. I don't know for sure how much of what they're saying is true with, Nick Sirianni making the entire game plan and then Brian Johnson just going along with it. I don't know. But I definitely think that that's something that we need to know because there's a significant shift from when Sirianni was calling the plays to when Steichen was calling the plays. And I think that's definitely not something to be overlooked.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't want to overlook the fact that, Hurts has been injured the past, 5 weeks, 6 weeks with his knee, which could be limiting a lot of the plays that they would like to be calling, those RPOs. He's not as big of a run threat as, he once was a couple, before he got that injury against the Dolphins. But it's a good thing to see that he did have a couple of rushing attempts against the 49ers, and he was running hard. He was running quick. And I think that we're going to start seeing him kind of rely on that knee a little bit more. And, hopefully, because if we look at it, the first couple of weeks before that Dolphins game, we were putting up those 30 points a game. The offense did look, it looked a lot better than it is now. So I'm almost wondering if a lot of, this kind of one-dimensional play calling is because of that injury on the knee. He can't roll out like he used to. He can't, be as versatile as he once was. I would like to see that change this week, knowing that he's getting healthier and healthier each week. But like you said, Ash, when Sirianni was the play caller, it was pass. We didn't run. And then he was like, all right, I'm not gonna play call anymore. And then we ran, and we started winning and we made the playoffs. It was like, so it's almost like, there's got to be a change, and I don't know if that's him not calling the plays. I don't even know if he's calling the plays. I don't know the entire situation. I don't think anyone does. But something needs to change, and hopefully that does this coming week.
But Matt, the one thing is, I don't think you necessarily need to rely on Hurts's legs. And I only say that because DeAndre Swift was putting up we were like, wow, he's gonna have a record year. Wow, he's gonna have a record year at the beginning of the season. They need to establish the run again. To your point, though, at the end, and while I disagree with that first point, I do agree with your latter point of establish the run and get Hurts into a rhythm. Because here's something else that has had some mild success as well over the last few weeks. When they throw one of these check down passes to DeAndre Swift, when he goes maybe out and does a curl 3 or 4 yards past the line of scrimmage, and then can take it upfield. No, because the linebackers are playing back to try to limit the aerial attack with Brown and Smith. I think that's what you have to do. However, at least having Goddard back will also help with that problem. Maybe signing Ertz, because we saw the stolen Calcaterra experiment isn't going so well. We don't know if Goddard's going to be necessarily fully healthy the rest of the season. It's good to have a plan B in place. So,
which actually, once again, another great bridge. Some draft needs for the Eagles. I mean, obviously, I think linebacker has been at the top of everybody's wish list this year. They do solve a little bit of that with some outside linebacker help with Shaq Leonard, but we really need a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Nakobe Dean, here's all I'll say about him. I think he's a great player. I think maybe we're starting to understand a little bit more about why he dropped to where he dropped. And I don't mean that to a discredit to him as a player. I mean more, maybe there was something about an injury or something that, teams thought that he could be prone to that ended up happening. And maybe that's why I did. Maybe it's just bad luck too. And I might be looking way too far into it. But regardless, him not being on the field is a loss. And the Eagles need somebody out there that can be a good tackler. I think Cunningham is solid, but we need we need a legit middle linebacker. It has been years since the Eagles have even attempted to get a legit middle linebacker. I think the last time that this team actually attempted at one, a legit middle linebacker, Pro Bowl caliber, was Kiko Alonso.
No. Nigel Bradham.
Bradham was solid. He was underrated though, man. That's why I said Pro Bowl caliber. He was great, but I wouldn't say that he was
Michael Kendrick?
Top 3 to 5.
Kiko was shit.
Well, Kiko was expected to be that, is why I'm saying
he
was
was
nothing close to it. But when he first came to Philadelphia, the expectation was we're going to have a Pro Bowl linebacker.
Well, yeah, because
my point is, I'm trying to illustrate this team hasn't made any attempt at the middle linebacker position or getting a solid solution since then. It's not a good thing, in my opinion. So hopefully they change that this draft. That's my wish list. What do you got, Matt?
I think you're saying that shit because we traded LaShawn McCoy for him. But we're also forgetting who made that trade. No.
McCoy was that good of a back. We thought you were getting somebody in return, and then
there's not a damn person in the world that would make that trade other than Chip Kelly. There's not another person.
Well, we were left with that, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it was right. That's what I think you guys are missing the point of. All I'm saying is when he came here, we were told this is going to be a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker. This is why we brought him in. That's all I'm saying, is that was the last time the team made an attempt at the position of that high level. Since then, they've pretty much just been like, well, whatever the fuck we find in the draft or whatever the fuck we get in the free agency, sometimes it's worked out. Bradham's a great example. Maybe Jordan Hicks might be a good example of the draft, somebody that worked. But when can we get a Jeremiah Trotter type of player? I'm just asking.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is coming into the draft, so
that would be awesome.
I would like to see them pursue him in the draft. I mean, he's supposed to be a high pick, so I would like to see the Eagles try to snag him. But I think TJ Edwards and Kaiser White exceeded expectations with the Eagles.
Fair to say. Yeah.
And I just don't know why. I mean, they couldn't pay everybody. But where the fuck is what's his name? Nolan Smith. I don't see him anywhere on the field. He needs to get more playing time to prove himself that he could be a decent line. I mean, he's more of an edge rusher, but give him the shot at the linebacker position. Give him the shot. Give him a shot at the linebacker position because that's where he plays. Hit that and then edge rushing. But I mean, it wouldn't hurt. It would not hurt.
He's a Micah Parsons.
I would
not say that.
I wouldn't say he's a Micah Parsons, but
I would not say Micah Parsons. No.
I would say Hassan Reddick is closer to Micah Parsons than anybody on the team. But yeah, I want to see more of Nolan Smith and move him to the middle linebacker position.
I guess my comparison was stemming from the fact that he was drafted as a linebacker, but they want to use him more as a Hassan Reddick role. I mean, Hassan Reddick is labeled a linebacker as well. That was my only point. I don't think he's as good as Micah Parsons. That wasn't
I know you were trying to say. I know you were trying to say. Yeah.
How are you feeling about the draft, Matt? I mean, linebacker, you have any other positions that you want the Birds to look at? I mean, it's a vital draft for the future of this quote-unquote dynasty if we want to build it.
You got to draft safety. I mean, I know that we like Sidney Brown. You know, Reed Blankenship, I think, has been better than our buddy on the podcast earlier was saying. But Kevin Byard, guys, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of him at all. We need a solidified, we need another safety back there. We tried signing, Terrell Edmonds. That did not work. Or did he get injured? Whatever it was.
We traded him away for Kevin Byard.
Yeah, and that worked out well too. I mean, I think Kevin Byard has done more damage to us than good. He had one interception. Other than that, I think he's done absolute garbage. That's just me. I know a lot of people don't agree with my take on that, but I just don't like him. And I just think that we need someone young, and I think Sidney Brown could be that guy. But again, we haven't given him the chance. Right now, I think linebacker and safety is definitely the needs that we need the most. And I mean, Dallas Goedert's getting up there in age too. Are we really going to trust, Calcaterra and Jack Stoll to take over that position? Goddard's getting injured a lot. He's getting up there in age, like I just said. What is he, late 20s, maybe early 30s? And tight end's a pretty physical role. So, you got to start looking at, the tight end position. Offensive line, you have Lane Johnson getting up there in age. I mean, our team, as much as we love the legends that we have on it, they're getting old, and we're going to have to start replacing them soon. So, I mean, the next couple of drafts are pretty vital.
For sure. Yep.
KJ, you got anybody that you're looking at specifically in this draft for the Birds?
Honestly, I don't even want to think about the draft. I'm thinking about the season right now. I hear Giants fans talking about the draft and Caleb Williams and all those guys. But to be honest, no, because we still have a season and we still have a 10-2 team that can it might not feel like it, but they have a chance to be a Super Bowl contender. They still do. But yeah, I'm not really looking into the draft right now. I mean, I would like to get a linebacker, but will Howie do that? Probably not. Yeah, got to be honest. But
he's going to draft another D tackle, baby.
Probably.
There's just certain positions that this guy seems to think are a dime a dozen, to say the least, right?
Well, like you were saying, KJ, I mean, Giants fans have a reason to look at the draft because, quite frankly, they have no reason to look at the season right now. Yeah. I mean, they're horrible. So
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Next segment.
All right. So looking ahead this week, flip side, KJ, how you feeling this week? I know that you and I have discussed in the past. You got some Dallas fans in the family. We got some Dallas fan friends who you have won apparel and hats off of. It's a true rivalry. Are you excited for this week? And what are your expectations for our Eagles?
I am so excited. I am so pumped. And I can feel it because, as I said before, the best thing for us to actually come back and get the confidence is for us to get punched in the mouth. And that's what happened against San Fran. And all those cockroaches can keep on chirping and chirping and chirping because Sunday Night Football. Carrie Underwood will be singing her song on NBC, and then we'll just be trying to fast forward to it. We just want to watch the goddamn game. We don't care about the song at the moment, even though it's a good song, but we don't care at the moment. You know what, though? I'm so pumped for this game. I think that the team is going to flip a switch, and hopefully they can kind of really just do like a balance of running the ball as well as passing the ball, because you can't just run the ball the whole time. I mean, obviously, and like, because Sirianni's going to want to listen to the fans because he's done that before. But he's also got to pass it as well because you got AJ and Devontae. And if AJ doesn't get the ball, he gets a little mad. I mean, I get it. I mean, he's an elite receiver. But yeah, I think this team is going to – they're going to come out with some fire. It's going to be in Dallas, hostile environment. But they have a chance to do something that we haven't done in a while, and that's actually sweep the Cowboys in a season series. And I think they can do it. I do. So we'll see what happens. And, I mean, if we do a score prediction in a little bit, I'll give you a score prediction if we need to.
KJ, what do you think the biggest thing – what was that, though? I'm sorry.
I was going to say real quick, I think it's safe to say, too, a quick question. Is it safe to say that if they beat the Cowboys this Sunday, they wouldn't only sweep the Cowboys, well, would they be the first team in the however long to beat NFC East champions? So they would probably break that curse, too, just looking at the rest of the schedule. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
No, I was just going to ask KJ what he thought the biggest key to the game this weekend is. Like, what needs to happen in order for us to win?
I think, honestly, getting the confidence back of the run game, that as well, really just, I mean, as I said before, just kind of getting like a balance of both the run game and the passing game, just using those advantages that we have and just kind of trying to play like how we played against Dallas in Philly, bringing that intensity. And as I said before, just like we got punched in the mouth and we got to punch Dallas even harder. That's what we got to do. And I think we'll come out with that intensity. But I mean, the problem is, I mean, like, I think the key thing as well on defense is letting Shaq Leonard adapt to this team. And I mean, it's not going to be easy because we still, as you said before, Kevin Byard's still trying to adapt to the playbook. I mean, like, it's tough to just put a guy and literally just feed him to the wolves. And that's honestly what Shaq Leonard is going to have to do. I mean, it's a whole new playbook. I mean, he does know Sirianni, like, from coaching, but Sirianni's changed his whole playbook for sure. And defense is different. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And I think, as I said before, the linebacker position, if they can cover the tight ends, I'm trying to think of a tight end's name for Dallas. Ferguson, yeah. They can cover him well and not do what they did against Kittle, because Kittle was wide open this weekend. And I mean, not even just him, but I mean, Debo was open. Receivers and tight ends were getting open. We just need to do way better on coverage. And that also means with Darius Slay and James Bradbury, I mean, they need to strap up. And I mean, they got some receivers for sure. I mean, like, it's not going to be easy because CeeDee Lamb, I mean, you got CeeDee Lamb, you got not Amari Cooper, he's gone.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, Cooks. You got Cooks too. So you got to watch out for those guys. And I think if they can stop those guys, they can win the game.
There's actually an interesting stat that I wanted to bring up in the 49ers section. Purdy had 314 yards in the game, and 179 of them came against Nicholas Morrow, our linebacker. Darius Slay let up 39 yards, no touchdown. James Bradbury let up 0 yards, 0 receptions, 0 touchdowns. Eli Ricks let up, I think, something like 112 or something. Which really puts into perspective, you know, we have a good defense, but we have some really, really weak links in our defense. If they can tighten those up against this Dallas offense, I do think that we're going to come out victorious, because that's not going to happen every week. You know, me and a couple of my friends, I'm always, you know, shitting on Nicholas Morrow. I'm not a big fan of him, especially after that 49ers game, but if that doesn't happen, he let up, like I said, 170 something yards with a couple of touchdowns. That game, we're right back into it. He had a really, really, really bad game. And, hopefully Shaq Leonard signing, I know he's getting thrown right into the dogs, but hopefully, he's going to be able to, tighten things up in that middle of the field, because that's where we're the weakest. They can't also tackle too. It was just a bad 49ers game. And, hopefully, this signing tightens things up against the Cowboys. And if we can secure the middle of the field, I think we're going to have a lot more successful of a game than we did against the 49ers.
And not only that, like you said, the middle of the field, that's what worries me the most, is because CeeDee Lamb targets the middle of the field. Like, he likes to go in the middle of the field, and that's where he thinks that he could strive the best, I guess. I did watch like a little highlights on him, and he likes to go one-on-one with linebackers himself. So, and that's what scares me about him, because our linebackers haven't been good. But yeah, I like the first 2 drives that the Eagles did against the 49ers, but they just couldn't convert into the red zone. And that's what they need to get better at too, is red zone offense. They need to score. They can't keep on kicking field goals, because field goals aren't going to win games.
Agreed. They got to get it together offensively. They got to get their shit together and look in the mirror this week and figure out, how do we connect the dots to become the best team in the NFL, because it's been a long, long time coming. I want to thank all of our fans for jumping on tonight, that have been active in the chat. Like I said, if you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts, do me a favor, write us a review on Spotify. If you guys are listening on Spotify, do me a favor, write us a review on Apple Podcasts. Anything really helps us as we continue to grow. But that's everything we got for you guys tonight. I also want to thank our special guest, a former host, a legend of this podcast, somebody that I'm eternally grateful for, a good friend of mine. Happy post-birthday, man.
Thank
And
you,
hopefully they'll
thank
give
you.
you your birthday gift this week instead of last week. It was
Thank
a
you, I
delay. It got
appreciate it.
delayed in the mail or some shit.
It's all good. I didn't even know you got me a gift in the first place. You didn't even have to.
No, I'm talking about the Eagles getting you a gift this week as a W.
Oh, the W. Okay, yes, that. Yeah, hopefully they can. That'd be a great late birthday present for sure, and that'd be awesome to make up for my horrible birthday that I had. Just because of the loss. That's it. Everything else was great.
I knew it was even bad when Cowboys beat commented on your post, and he said, "Damn, man, now you even got me feeling bad." So that was how I knew you did a good job guilting him.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you get them. Get them in the shit traps. That's how you got to get them. Those little cockroaches, they start crawling over, and then boom. So
you were with me when I bought this shirt, man. That was a very memorable game, and hopefully this one will
Get the toilet paper. It's Dallas week, KJ.
Oh, yeah, I do got it. Yep, I do.
Yeah, go grab that real quick. Show that for everybody on the way out.
Ready. It's ready to go, man. So hopefully we can use this. And
did you use it anytime soon?
It looks like it's running low.
Funny thing, I've actually used this many times for my lizard shit. Not kidding.
Well, there you go.
Why don't you use it for your own shit, KJ?
Well, I'm saving that for when we win this Sunday.
This week, you got to earn it. You got to sweep them.
I'm not sending a video to you guys. That's just disgusting. But you know what? I will just tell you that I did it, and you better believe me. If you want to see that shit, you got problems, okay? You got real problems. I don't know why you want to see that, but yeah. So,
on that note, go Birds, baby.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
And I mean, Jack's not here this week to do our normal outro, but Josh, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that outro.
Dallas sucks.
Dallas sucks ass.
You can take my dick.
Go Birds.
Cowboy Chris, get ready to lose this bet.